Holy cow. It's a happy, happy day for Ohioans that love freedom, for Ohioans that support the choice, the right to make choices for yourself. It's a great day in Ohio. It's been a lot of work from a lot of different people. I mean, and I'm not talking about just a little bit of work. It's been a lot of work from a lot of different people and a lot of different organizations and individual citizens, writing emails, sending petitions, going to the state house and lobbying on your own behalf, providing testimony for and against. For the opposition, too good for you for trying, but you lost this fight. He sent me a message on YouTube or where. I mean, I'm staying focused. If you need to message me, transfusion, rec@gmail.com is the best way to get a hold of me, or text me on my phone number. If that's Kathleen, I got your text message. I gave your number to the old lady. She's dealing with some stuff. She'll be getting a hold of you shortly. All right, back to staying on track. A ton of hard work has went in to making what's happened here in Ohio come together for several years now. I know it was at least 2 years ago, maybe 3. I'm thinking it was more like 3 years ago that I personally went up to Columbus and gave testimony on what has happened here myself. And I'm just going to quit making you all guess. I'm excited and I'm happy. I'm head over heels. I'm doing cartwheels in Ohio today. Constitutional carry was signed. Governor Mike DeWine, the piece of shit that he is, finally, I'm not giving him any props. Fuck Mike DeWine. He's just trying to steal votes for the upcoming primary election. He's wanting people to see things his way. Screw Mike DeWine. But he did do something great. All right. So under Mike DeWine's tenure as governor, I mean, he's been anti-gun as he can be, but he has signed and passed into law the Stand Your Ground law here in Ohio. We have Castle Doctrine here in Ohio, and we now have constitutional carry here in Ohio. All right. So what does that mean? Because there's a lot of cats out there that probably don't know what constitutional carry means, or they have some kind of weird perception of it based on what somebody that didn't know what it means either, but thought that they did and told you. Constitutional carry means that if you're lawfully allowed to purchase a firearm, you can purchase said firearm and carry it any way you like, with or without a permit. Now, there's some rules that come in when you get into boats, when you get into aircrafts, when you get into going hunting. There are some rules that apply in some different areas, but for all intents and purposes, that means that you, the average citizen, can walk into your local gun store, purchase a firearm, a holster, take it out to your car, load that firearm, put it in the holster, and put that holster on your hip, and that's all the permission you need to be able to carry your firearm. Outside of like schools and banks and government buildings and places like that. While I do advocate for constitutional carry, I'm also a huge proponent for educating yourself, because if you don't know what you're doing and you carry a firearm ignorantly, you can inadvertently put yourself in a place or in a situation that you're not educated to deal with, and inadvertently get yourself in trouble. They don't care if you didn't know. Ignorance is not an exception to the law. Any lawyer or judge will tell you that. So I am just absolutely head over heels that Ohio got just a little teeny itsy bitsy little morsel of freedom back. That's great. It's a great step in the right direction. It's not the end all be all, but it is definitely a great step in the right direction for bringing our country back to what it needs to be, providing you with the freedom to be able to defend yourself when and how you need to defend yourself without having to suckle on the teeth of the government for a permission slip that says that you're allowed, that you're not an asshole, that you're allowed to have a weapon. Well, the problem with that is that the assholes out there, the true assholes that are wrecking shit and tearing shit up, don't care about your permission slip. They're not going to ask you for permission to carry a gun because the only thing they want to use the gun for is to commit crimes. Criminals don't ask permission. Neither should free men. A freeman should not have to ask for permission to carry a firearm. It's declared in our Second Amendment, and it was a right provided to me the day that I was born to be able to defend my life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness with any means available to me. Whether that be fists, sticks, rocks, bats, clubs, arrows, spears, swords, guns, bazookas, tanks, rockets. The social contract requires that we don't have tanks and rockets and Apache helicopters. And while I would love to be able to, there's no reason why I can't have a minigun on the roof of my house. The social contract requires that I meet him halfway. I feel like I'm going probably more than like 3/4 of the way. But whatever. I'm sure that there's going to be a ton of Karens that are going to jump on this video and like, oh, training. Shut up. Who the hell are you to decide who gets to enjoy their freedom and who doesn't? As long as it meets your understanding of training or qualifications, get the fuck out of here. That's not what freedom looks like. Freedom looks like if you want to put a gun in your holster and put it on your hip and travel with it, carry it, and have it with you, it means that you better damn well make sure you know what you're doing when you pull it out of the holster. Because we have laws in place that prevents you or encourages you to be educated and skilled with your weapons so you accidentally don't cause more harm than good. We have laws on the books to punish people that make mistakes, that get it wrong. We have laws on the books to handle those situations. Your 6-hour concealed carry class ain't worth a squirt of piss. I took the class. I know tons of people that have taken the class, and there's just simply not enough hours available in that class. You do not have enough one-on-one training with the instructor to say that you're qualified any more than anyone else. All you're doing with those CCW classes, and I'm gonna not just trash on CCWs because I have one. I still advocate for people to get them. There are reasons for having a concealed carry permit. There's reasons for not having a concealed carry permit. But ultimately, the choice should be up to you on whether you want to get that permission slip or whether you just want to carry your weapon the way you want to carry your weapon. Should you get training? Absolutely. Absolutely. I am not saying to not get training. I firmly advocate for training all the time, training as much as you can afford to. That way you are competent with your weapon. That way you can confidently draw your weapon out and place effective rounds downrange without fear of harming someone else or having the knowledge to know when to pull the trigger and when to stay off the trigger. To know when it's time to seek cover and just stay the hell out of the conflict altogether. To know not to get involved in stuff that's not necessarily any of your business unless there is ultimately imminent threat to life or imminent injury. Deadly injury, dangerous injury, bodily harm. That's the word, bodily harm. So I'm pro training and I'm pro being good with your gun, making good common sense choices. But I'm also pro being free and making choices based on what you feel is best for you. Now, if you choose to carry a gun and you don't get the training and you make a mistake, you have an accident, you have a whoopsie, well, sorry, Charlie, you're going to have to go to jail. Same thing applies to me. And I have shit tons of training. I train all the time. I shoot all the time. Not just punch and holster paper targets, but I actually do tactical drills and training on my range to try to prepare me for the situations that may come at me in the future. And the training may or may not be of benefit to me, but without that training, I know where I stand. It's in your best interest to train. Let's read some comments. Matt says, actually, we can have a lawful intent. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Matt. I guess technically you can have some of that stuff. There's a guy not far from me that has a tank, but it's de-armed. It's not armed anymore. He's just got a gas guzzling bulldozer without a blade. It looks cool as hell. But, and I guess maybe if you were a machinist, you might be able to bring it back into service, but not lawfully. You can't lawfully have a fucking tank, operational tank. You can't lawfully have a fully armored or Tomcat aircraft. I know Tom Cruise owns an F-16, but it's not armed. He can't have sidewinders on it, I don't think. Maybe Tom Cruise can, but I bet I can't because I can't afford the licensing and permits and all the bullshit that goes along with it. But going into the Karens that are going to push and hate on this, I printed off a news article. The FOP says included the Fraternal Order of Police came out in opposition against the legislation. Gary Wolski said FOP opposes the bill for several reasons. The main one is no required safety training. He says that's pretty scary when you consider it a fact that people that have no training can go and get a gun and maybe not even know which end goes bang. That's his words. He said, not even know which end goes bang. So essentially, he thinks y'all so gosh darn dumb, you can't figure out which end of the gun goes boom. You too fucking dumb. You too fucking dumb to figure out how to get to a polling booth, you people. Can't figure... Motherfucker. Are you shitting me? Too dumb to figure out which end goes bang? Please. Man, it's insulting. That is insulting. That's just as insulting as telling black people they can't figure out how to fucking get to the voter polls or figure out how to get identification. That's how insulting that is. Don't know which end go bang. Really? For real. The problem with this statement is that in the state of Ohio, regardless of whether we have constitutional carry or not, you can openly carry a firearm in the state of Ohio without any kind of permission slip or any kind of training whatsoever. Long before I got a concealed carry permit, I was carrying a gun around openly here in Ohio, and they could just pound salt in their ass. And I heard this, you'll be the first person to get shot. You're going to constantly be harassed by the police. This and that and yada, yada, yada. The truth of the matter is, the day I strapped a gun on my hip was the day I stopped having problems with law enforcement. For one, it changed my attitude. My personality changed when I started carrying a gun. I realized that I could no longer be a hot-headed, short-fused kind of person. I had to start carrying myself a little bit differently. And then secondly, the law enforcement just didn't bother me when they seen me with my gun on. I've never, to date, and I've been carrying a gun now for going on 10 years, to date, I have never had a police officer in any town, state, anywhere, come up to me and harass me because I was open carrying my firearm. Never. Now, I've had a handful of business owners, I've had a handful of Karens over the 10 years, nearly 10 years, that have had some snooty or negative remarks to say. But for the most part, no problems at all. So what are you typing out, Matt, that you got to take back? No takesy backsies. Say what you believe, man. I got thick skin. Worst thing you can do is piss me off. And then I don't hold grudges. You got to really burn me to get me to hold a grudge. Democratic governor, the guy running for governor as the Democrat, this Nan Whaley, said the bill makes communities less safe. How can being able to constitutionally carry your weapon, because it's not like everybody in the state's going to run out and strap a blaster on their hip all of a sudden. There'll be some that will, and there'll be some that'll let their CCWs expire. But an armed population is a polite population. You don't get road rage when everyone knows that you're carrying a gun. You don't get muggings when they know the victims are strapped up. I do open carry, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But Dayton Mayor Whaley, it doesn't make anybody less unsafe. The only thing that makes people less safe is your anti-American fascist-ass gun policies that restrict and make it difficult for people to be able to buy firearms. And the people that have the hardest time buying firearms, the people that have to go through the most hoops to be able to get firearms, is that huge percentage of African Americans that you've done had in prison multiple times over dumb shit, over a bag of pot. Those are the ones that are drastically being harmed by your anti-American fascist gun laws. I've open carried in every city state that I've been in. I've open carried in Dayton before. Dude, I mean, you're talking to a guy that I got involved with a guy named Jeff Smith, and we took part in open carry education walks at Ohio State University, at Kent State University, at Columbus, the university in Columbus, Ohio State. And then he's went and done open carry education walks at even more colleges. But yeah, dude, I'll open carry anywhere I fucking want to open carry. When I went to Dayton during the tornadoes and was delivering water and supplies, I open carried then. When I go up to see my grandkids, if we go into any stores or anywhere we go, I open carry then. I don't go to Dayton very often, but I have been to Dayton and I've open carried. I mean, I open carried at the hotel when we'd go up there and do the gun shows. I'd open carry at the head shop where I'd stop and get my rolling papers and tobacco. We'd open carry in any of the restaurants that we went into up there. Even if they had a sign on the door that said no firearms, I'm not disarming myself to come in here. If that's a problem, then I'll go somewhere else. I open carry bullets though. There's another thing in SB 215 that people need to be aware of. Yeah, there's another little cool nugget in there, unless it got taken out. Now, this piece could have gotten taken out of the final bill that DeWine signed, but I know in the original text, the duty to notify has been removed from concealed carry holders. All right, so if you do have a concealed carry permit like I have in Ohio, as soon as you have an altercation with law enforcement, you're immediately required by law to announce to them that you are a concealed carry holder and that you have a concealed carry firearm, yada, yada, yada. HB 215, the original text at least, removed that duty to notify. Because, I mean, non-concealed carry permit holders weren't going to have to notify. So why would I have to notify just because I went through the extra paperwork? Permission slip process, begging for permission to do what I should have always been allowed to do to begin with. Concealed carry trainers, crying, poor alligator tears. I ain't going to be able to sell no more concealed carry permits. Nobody's going to pay me for a concealed carry permit because they don't need a concealed carry permit. Well, let me tell you, Mr. Concealed Trainer guy, relax, take a breath. It's going to be all right. You know why? Because there's a lot of us out here that want to go ahead and have a concealed carry permit. I've already kissed the man's ass. I've already jumped through the hoops. I already have the concealed carry permit. And what the concealed carry permit will do for folks that don't have it currently or do have it or don't have it and you're going to get it or considering getting it, I would say, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and get your concealed carry permit if you're okay with asking for permission. And there's two reasons why. Reason number one, fast tracking firearms purchases. If you get your concealed carry permit, when you go in to purchase your firearm, you'll fill out your 4470. Yeah, it's 4470 form. Hand it to the guy, hand him your ID, hand him your CCW, hand him the money. He writes down your information. He gives you your change and your firearm, and you're free to go. No more delays. No more you having to wait for them to call in, wondering if they're going to delay. If you're one of the people that get hung up because of constant delays, you're constantly getting delayed for a firearm, purchasing the CCW would help fast track that. You don't have to deal with that nonsense anymore. And then secondly, and probably the most important reason to have your concealed carry permit is, like I said earlier, cops don't fuck with me no more. When they pull in behind you and they run your tag and it comes up that you're a concealed carry holder, and it does right there on their computer screen, it'll pop up with a red flashing light, CCW holder, at least here in Ohio. They treat you different. You know, when they come up to the window, I don't care if I have to notify to him or not. I'm still going to go ahead and notify because I want him to feel warm and fuzzy. I want him to feel like there's no reason to be stressed out, aggravated, twisted up, pissed off, mad about anything. Not with me anyway. I want to do everything I can to pander to this peckerhead and get him to fuck away from my car with the least amount of expense possible. Because the only thing that ever happens when them red and blues come on behind you is the fucking money vacuum fires up. And they're about to suck some money up out your pocket over some dumb shit. It's always dumb shit. Hey, Jesse. You know, so my thing is I want that cop to feel warm and fuzzy. I used to be aggressive with them. I used to be, well, I ain't answering questions and I ain't playing your bullshit and blah, 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 borderline sovereign citizen shit. And what I found is that leaves me sitting on the side of the road while they're throwing my shit out on the ground more times than not. That ends up with them putting me in handcuffs when they didn't necessarily have to because I'm being an ass or being a dick. So the newer, more mature version of Paul, yes, sir, Mr. Officer. I'd like to let you know before we get started that I am a concealed carry holder and I do have a loaded firearm in the car with me. I'm keeping my hands at 10 and 2 so you don't have to worry about it. But that weapon is on my left hip. It is loaded and my wallet with my identification in it is in my left rear pocket. How would you like for me to proceed? Would you like me to get out of the vehicle so you can secure this weapon so you feel warm and fuzzy? I hate that. I hate that. But if that's what it takes to make that peckerhead give me a warning ticket instead of extorting $180 out of me, I'll suck it up and deal with it because what are you going to do if you don't? We're going to do, you can be an ass. You can be a dick. They're just going to fucking cost you more money. You're going to be there longer. It's going to cost you more money. It sucks. It's a bitter pill. It smells and tastes like a pile of shit. You either fucking... When eating a shit sandwich, it is always best to bite, chew, swallow, repeat. Don't get hung up on the semantics. Just get it over with. You're eating that shit sandwich. It's just a matter of whether you're going to do it with a smile on your face or a boot on your neck. You're eating that shit sandwich no matter what. So yeah, there's definitely still reasons to have your concealed carry permit. You know, if you advocate for having them, then I support that. If you advocate for not having them, I support that. I'm all about personal choice. I choose to be free. You choose what you choose. You know, I mean, I choose to be free. Like I said, I've got the concealed carry permit. I'm going to keep it renewed. I leave Ohio a lot. When I leave Ohio and go into a state that is neighboring Ohio, that my concealed carry permit is reciprocated in, I have no worries. You know, like I can go into Kentucky. Kentucky's a constitutional carry state too, but it's constitutional carry for the people that live there, not outside residents. You don't get constitutional carry in Kentucky if you're not a Kentucky resident. So when you go through Kentucky, the shit gets complicated. If you've got the concealed carry permit, it uncomplicates a lot of it. It just does. It makes buying the weapons go faster, and in no way, shape, or form will having more law-abiding firearms owners being armed be more dangerous to the community. There's no possible way. I mean, this is fairy tale talk, guys. I mean, if you could, I think there's 18 states now, 17 or 18 states now that have constitutional carry, and every single one of them states, oh, it's going to be the Wild West. There'll be shootouts in the streets. Oh, it'll be the OK Corral every Friday, Saturday night. The only places that are like that are the places that have huge gun control. Chicago's like the fucking OK Corral every weekend. 14, 15 people killed every weekend by gun violence. Strictest fucking gun laws some of the strictest gun laws in the country. New York City, some of the strictest gun laws in the country. Murders off the fucking charts. California, same thing. Strictest gun laws in the country, and the shit just does not work. Let's try arming more honest, hardworking American citizens. Let's try arming more moms and dads. People that don't want to hurt nobody, but I'll shoot you in the dick if you fucking threaten my family. If you put my family in harm, I'll do what has to be done. Let's arm more people like that. Let's have more of those people strapped up, ready to defend themselves. So when that one asshole does go strolling through a movie theater or a mall or a church or wherever in the hell they decide they want to go start hurting people at, there's more than enough people to draw their weapons out and smoke that SOB and let us be the first responders. We're the ones that are there when shit goes south. The people are the ones that are there when shit goes sideways. So why are we over here yanking our dicks off, waiting on cops to show up with the same kind of guns that we should have in our fucking hips anyway? Constitutional carry in America or in Ohio, it's one small step. There's a lot more that needs to be done, guys. A lot more that needs to be done. Get with the Ohio gun owners. Get with Ohio concealed carry. Get with organizations that are like-minded in the things that you care about and the freedom that you want to retain, and put your effort into it. Whether it's with a tweet, whether it's with a share, whether it's with a cash donation, whether it's with an email, whether it's with a handwritten letter to Mike DeWine him fucking self. Get involved, get involved, get involved. Our country's being run off of a cliff, and if we don't get more involved, they're going to do it, and there's nobody to blame but ourselves. I'm Paul Riley, and this is Therapy Range. I'm out of here for the night. I got another video I'm going to go back in the house and start editing. Stay free, America. Yes, Matt, I get it. Yes. Good night, guys. Everybody stay free.